Hello, I'm Wanderer001 and this is my review / comparison between the TP-Link Mini and the Wemo Mini smart plugs. So you, like me, probably are looking into automating your home. The easiest way to do that is a smart plug. Now, the two biggest smart plug makers right now are TP-Link and Wemo, which is a Belkin company. And you might be wondering, which one of these do I need? Which one of these will work better for me? Which one will I like? Well, if you look in the upper right hand corner there, I will link to individual reviews of both of these. However, this is going to be a comparison of the two. So if you're looking for like the cheat sheet or Crypt Notes version of those reviews, this is it. This will let you know the differences, the major differences between the two, so that you can maybe make a faster decision, a more informed decision. That is what I'm here to help you with. I'm not going to tell you which one is the best because depending on your particular outlook, one of these might work better for you, but not for me. So what I'm going to give you is my opinion. This is just some random person on the internet giving you their opinion because they have both of the plugs. Now, I also did purchase originally their predecessors, the larger plugs, so that again, up in the upper right hand corner. So I've done this before and I have a few key factors that I'm looking for. First being the size. You'll notice that there is a difference in the size. Now, I am holding them with the plugs facing forward, so we're going to call this the front of the device. Now, you'll notice the TP-Link here. There is nothing on the front of the device except the plug itself. The Wemo, on the other hand, has the plug right there, as well as the on-off switch and a LED indicator, but there's a lot of white space over there. So that makes this one a little longer, taking up precious real estate. However, coming to the top, you'll notice that both of them don't have anything going on, just a little branding over there on the TP-Link, but TP-Link is much wider. So this will sit further out from the wall than this. So that's gonna kind of be up to you as to where you're utilizing these, which is gonna be more useful. Do you care if it sticks out further or if it's a longer device? Now, both of these require an application on your smartphone in order to utilize them. Again, TP-Link, and I'm doing this alphabetically, so don't think I'm leaning heavily on the TP-Link. The TP-Link application, in my opinion, is more robust than the Belkin Wemo here. With the TP-Link, you can tell how long the device has been on for, and it gives you a weekly as well as a monthly average. And there's a couple other features that make me think the TP-Link app is more robust and better. You do not have power usage monitoring with either of these devices. The Wemo, pretty much all you can do is, can you turn the device on or off and set up some scheduling? You can do all of that with the TP-Link application as well. Both of them are Amazon Echo and Google Home compatible. However, Wemo is also IFTT compatible. TP-Link is not. So if you're delving into the if this then that world, Wemo has the upper hand because TP-Link can't do that. Now, setup, they're pretty similar in the setup. Takes about 5 to 10 minutes depending on how comfortable you are setting these up or if you've done it before. Both of them will require you to enable network access in order to use the application to turn something on and off when you're not on your local Wi-Fi network. So keep in mind you will have to make an account with the Wemo and the TP-Link, which is called Casa. The application is called Casa. So going back, let's talk about the hardware button a little bit, which you'll notice right here on Wemo, it's right up front and easy to find. You click it, it's there. But again, a lot of empty white space there, I don't know why. The TP-Link, the button is located on the side. They pretty much are similar, they do the same thing. Power it on and off, hold to reset. That's not too bad. I have had to reset my TP-Link before. Haven't had to set the Wemo, and they've both been running for about the same time. This is sitting behind a TV stand and was a little tricky to get to. I, at first, kind of wish it had the button on the top, the front, but I was able to reach the side with no problem. So again, form factor, still kind of leaning towards the TP-Link. Now, let's talk about the LEDs. The LEDs is something to consider. I did explain that that's the LED on the Wemo switch. Where is the LED on your TP-Link? Well, you'll notice that kind of clear ring over there. Well, it's not all an LED light, only that top corner is. And that will indicate when you're setting it up, several different colors, or when you power on the TP-Link smart plug here, it will be blue. The Wemo is white. Coloration, I want something that's not bright and going to disturb me if it's in my bedroom. The Wemo being a bright white light is kind of disturbing. The blue over here, not so much. It's a gentler color. Now, keep in mind that both of these plugs, when they are turned off, when the item that's plugged into them is turned off, you go blah, 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 turn off, both the lights go out. That is something that I appreciate greatly in comparison to their predecessors. Wemo's turned itself off, TP-Link did not. But TP-Link is learning. So, speaking of comparison, how about electrical usage? How much power do these use? Well, to start off, idling. TP-Link uses almost a scant amount of power. My device could barely pick up any power usage. So you figure between 0.5 and 0. Belkin Wemo switch here uses between 0.7 and 0.8. I do understand that that's pretty much the same thing. It's almost hard to differentiate the two. However, this one almost doesn't use any power. Now, when the device is turned on, meaning the device itself is turned on. Idling, it's connected to the Wi-Fi, and that's why it's using some power. When the device is turned on, not including whatever's plugged into here, the TP-Link uses 1 watt. 1 watt of power when it's on. The Wemo switch here uses 1.3 to 1.4 watts of power. There's a difference there for me. I like to not use electricity. My entire place uses electricity. I want to run on as little electricity as humanly possible. So, speaking of power, what happens if you have a power outage? What happens if your wife turns the switch off that these are connected to? Well, TP-Link will return to its original state. So if you had a light switch, if you had a light plugged into this and the light was on, when power is returned, TP-Link will have that light on. Wemo, if power is lost and there is a light plugged into this and the light is on, when this is restored, the light will be off. So that's a plus and minus on both sides. 3 o'clock in the morning, your light's going to be on. Or 3 o'clock in the morning, your TV will be on. But you want power to your TV. This one, you will have to say the actuation word in order to turn the item back on or use the application. Now, that's something else. When you lose power and these need to reconnect themselves to the Wi-Fi, this one I'm just going to give to the TP-Link. It takes between 10 to 15 seconds to reconnect itself to the Wi-Fi after it's been disconnected. The Wemo switch here takes between 30 to 45 seconds. Now, yes, I am splitting hairs saying this needs to be faster, but in the grand scheme of things, you want to be able to utilize that device as quickly as possible once it's reconnected. So TP-Link for the win there. So I figured a transition would be useful so that you could see these actually plugged into a wall. You'll notice that there is enough space in the wall socket with these new miniaturized designs that you can have 2 of them plugged in. Now, you could have 2 Belkin Wemos on top of each other, or you can have 2 TP-Links stacked on top of each other. They really have improved the design, and I enjoy the fact that you can now utilize 2 smart plugs in an actual socket instead of having to worry about it taking up so much space. Now, might be a little hard to see where you are, but I can fit just a bit of finger underneath the TP-Link as compared to the Belkin Wemo switch here. But on the wall itself, you will notice that the TP-Link does not exceed the plate cover for my electrical socket. The Belkin Wemo here does exceed the electrical plate on both sides. So that gives you a visual example of just how big both of these are when plugged into a wall. Now, the other thing to consider is price. Well, currently there is no price difference between the two. They're both $30. Originally, the TP-Link was the more expensive choice, and that would have made me say that the Wemo is the obvious choice if you're just starting off and wanting to get into home automation, but now they're both the same price. So the question then becomes, which is the best? Now, again, like I said, this is just my personal opinion. And overall, it's difficult to say, because do you want IFTT connection? Do you want a more robust application? Do you want one that does not require you to enable a CASA skill in the Amazon Echo universe in order to use? Do you just want to say, plug in, set up, discover devices, boom, you're on there? I have had, like I said, this one disconnected on me once. I had to turn it back on. This one I haven't had that problem with. But this one uses less power. This one, there's so many factors. But if I was going to give a ballpark of which one I would personally recommend to my friends starting out, I'm going to say the TP-Link. Even with its shortcomings, I feel that this one will last longer than this one. And I don't mean last longer in like manufacturing, this one is better than this one. I mean, I feel that if you're just starting off, but you want to keep the original purchase that you had, I feel that the TP-Link, once you get past that initial phase of, oh, I'm just starting off in home automation, will still be as useful as it was the first day you bought it. You might outgrow the Wemo switch here. It will still function, but this is something that I probably would recommend to like my parents just starting off automating their house, or this would be something that I set up in my parents' house to automate for them. It's simpler, it's less frustrating, and just, you turn it on, it does what it's supposed to do. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but me personally, I want a little more features, I want a little more control, I want less power usage, and form factor wise, I like this too, because even though it sticks out a little more, it still stays within the footprint of my electrical outlet. So TP-Link is still going to be what I consider my recommendation, and what I would suggest to friends. It's what I'm suggesting to you, depending on what your overall home automation needs are. They're both good products. They're both the same price. It is your call to make. I am just here to inform you of some of the things that I found utilizing both of them. So I have been Wanderer001. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the area below. And as always, thanks for watching.